Blue Beetle is out in theaters. Latest film in the latest superhero film in the DC universe. Was supposed to originally release on HBO and be just a television film, but apparently it tested well and they've released it widely in theaters. Technically, it's the last film in the old continuity of DC that is about to be rebooted with the new James Gunn Superman film. But at the same time, Blue Beetle doesn't directly reference or connect to any of the other movies so far, and apparently the plan for James Gunn is to fold this character into the new universe as well. Anyway, the film is a tired and tropey superhero origin story. A young man named Jaime comes back to his home of Palmera City after graduating from university. Hopeful and cheerful, he wants to take charge, help out his family who live in the poor outskirts of a technologically advanced city. But he accidentally comes in possession of a blue scarab thing, which turns out to be a sentient alien piece of technology which merges with his body and gives him powers related or inspired sort of by the Iron Man-esque suit. So bad guys want the scarab back. You know the rest. Fighting ensues, shooty, bam bam, humor, etc. So tonally, this is all over the place. Maybe the most messy film I've seen all year in that regard. You got stuff like body horror transformations inspired by Cronenberg, pretty cool, undercut with predictable lighthearted humor. And silly jokes. You got cyberpunk elements like the neon-drenched city, fascist corporations in control, people with cybernetic enhancements. Very, very cool. Mixed up with a very run-of-the-mill superhero stuff that we've seen 50 times already. You got some underlying political commentary about immigration, about American imperialism and the plight of Mesoamerican countries. And you've got cheap forced romance. The tone of it all changes wildly from one scene to the next, and there's honestly just whiplash. One moment the movie attempts to say something serious, the next it's all jokey. One moment it hooks onto something potentially interesting, the next it's boring again. And as I said, at its core, it is the most generic, by the numbers hero story you can imagine. It checks every box, goes through every cliche, every trope. There's no surprises at all. The villain is boring, the romance is forced. The family stuff is somewhat entertaining, I'll give the movie that. Now, listen, I've read a lot of comments online from Latino audiences praising the movie for being very relatable for them and nailing many of the details of their culture, about being a Latino American person, and they appreciate the film for all of that. And that's cool. I didn't have that personally. Nothing about it spoke to me on an emotional level, and I didn't relate. So I mostly just focused on the generic story and therefore was not amazed. But if you do relate and if you do like this film as a result, hey, more power to you. I'm not gonna shit on someone's individual opinion or reception. I'm just saying that as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I can judge the movie's sort of universal movie making execution, it's just not good. And also, slight spoilers, but the film features the most unnecessary, useless sacrifice death that I've ever seen. It comes out of nowhere from a character that was with the bad guys the whole time they were committing all these atrocities, but suddenly gets upset when they can't remember his name properly for the third time. It is completely avoidable, as he could just run away instead, and it accomplishes nothing because the bad guys still chase Blue Beetle anyway. And the fact that it's a character played by Harvey Guillen, who plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, just had me in stitches. I could imagine hearing Matt Berry's Laszlo voice berating him for being stupid and dying unnecessarily. But anyway, that's just a little side rant. Overall, I found Blue Beetle to be, unfortunately, weak, generic, predictable, and kind of boring.